Okay, great. Welcome to this session given to Mr. Kaushik Padigala by Mr. Radha Krishna Mulluru. We have been discussing we have been discussing strategies, in terms of competitive exams like Polytechnic. So the question right now is whether it is better to bubble or mark the answers immediately after solving the question in the competitive exam like POLYCET 2021, or whether it is better to bubble or answer all the answers maybe at the last, that means maybe in the last half an hour of the competitive exam. So the answer to this question is, it is better to bubble the answers immediately after solving the question. Okay, right, Kaushik? The reason for
Okay,
that
sir.
is, see, like I said yesterday, any competitive exam is designed to check two things of the candidate. Number one,
Yes, sir. Speed and accuracy.
yeah, accuracy, because accuracy is more important than speed. Because, even if you go very fast and if you go in the wrong direction, then obviously you need to come back. Okay, right? You need to backtrack. Okay, right? So accuracy first, speed next. So accuracy is important, speed is also important. So combined, what is your combined accuracy and speed in a competitive pressure environment where the pressure is created by competition, time limit, okay, and like exam conditions. Okay, this is the essence of any competitive exam. So so the answer to your question is, obviously, if you observe the psychology of the competitive exam carefully, you understand that decision making is also part and parcel of this. Actually, not
Yes,
only,
sir.
the accuracy speed here means not just your solving accuracy and solving speed, okay, problem solving accuracy and problem solving speed, but also your decision making accuracy and decision making speed. Okay, so when you have decided that you have solved a particular problem, okay, right, then the best time is to decide the answer and finalize it there itself. In management also, in time management, there is a very interesting and a very important concept called, if you can do something in less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Don't think if that work is needed, if that work is meaningful, and if you need to do that, and if you can do that in less than 2 minutes, just go ahead and do it. Right? That is what time management says. So even in a competitive exam also, generally, on average, every question gets, most probably less than 3 minutes or less
Okay.
than 2 minutes, and sometimes less than 1 minute
Sir,
also.
no, sir. Only 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, I'm not talking about just POLYCET 2021. I'm just talking about any competitive exam. So based on how many minutes are given, and based on, how much time, how many minutes are given for the entire exam, and based on how many questions are given in the competitive exam, we can easily calculate on average how many minutes or how many seconds are given to a particular question on average. Here, on average is
Yes,
important
sir.
because you cannot follow, 1 minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes for a question, right? So yes, for Polytechnic 2021 also, you can easily understand, what is the average time that a candidate has for one question in the test, right? So based on this, you need to decide, maybe on average, you need to decide the answer in less than that time if possible. And of course, you can take extra time also, but overall, you should be able to, cover the time. Okay, right? And also, you should be able to understand what are the questions that you should not time waste on, and what are the questions you can try and get correct answers. So this comes only with
Sir,
the help of the so-called perfect practice. Yes, yeah.
sir, at start, we should go through our question paper, sir, or it's a time waste, sir. What's
If
your
it is
opinion,
a,
sir?
if it is a yeah, I understand your question. Your question is whether the candidate should go through the competitive exam question paper before attempting the exam. Okay, so point number one, you should be very familiar and you should be very clear about what are the rules and regulations, what are the terms and conditions, what are the required things for the competitive exam. For example, a ballpoint pen, at least two ballpoint pens, arriving at the examination center a bit early, maybe at least half an hour early,
Sir.
whatever time they mention, that. So about these basic rules and regulations, you need to be very clear. Okay, the day before itself, you need to make all the things ready. Okay, right? And the previous day to the exam, to 1 day before, 2 days before the exam, you need to go to the center and you need to locate the center. You need to see where exactly it is, how much approximate time it takes from your place to go there, and what would be the traffic like, and what are the transport means. All these things you need to assess, right? Just like terrorist groups, perform
Yes,
drills
sir.
before they attack, right? In a positive way, it is very important to, locate, even if you don't plan and go separately, okay, if you are outside because of some other work, then at least you can use that opportunity to go to the exam center and check the surroundings and check the traffic, how much, approximate time it takes based on what is the transport means you are using, and what are the kind of facilities there, like that. You can even go inside. You can go inside and talk to the people also, saying that my name is this, I'm here because, the day after tomorrow I'm going to write an exam here, and I'm here just to check how is the facility here. So like that you can say, no one will say no to you, no one will say go out. Okay, right? So you need to understand, what is that location, how to go there, what are the basic requirements, what are the basic things to need to write the exam, right? All these things, you need to check and be ready, just like a warrior or just like a soldier, gets ready for a battle, with all the tools and techniques, you need to before itself, you need to be ready. At the last minute, there should be no hurry and all these things. And then coming back to, your question is, yeah, what is that question once again?
Sir, it's better if we go through the question paper once before starting exam
Yes, now so far we have talked about, whatever that is before
preparations.
question paper. Now we are getting into the question paper, the actual questions in the competitive exam. See, if it is a
Yes, sir.
descriptive exam, like the traditional academic exam, the system itself gives you the leverage or gives you the luxury, or the system itself requests you. You can see an instruction on the descriptive paper, like please read the paper for 5 to 10 minutes, and that is a very good strategy for
Yes,
a
sir.
descriptive exam. But for a competitive exam, you must be knowing what are the sections and what type of questions might be there, all this at the beginning itself. So there is one thing you can glance through the questions, but you must go through all the pages to check whether printing is correct or not, and whether all the questions are printed or not. Because before you
Yes, sir.
even put a dot using your ballpoint pen on any paper, first you need to check whether all the printing is there or not, whether all the questions are printed or not, whether all the supposed sections are there or not. That you need to check. And once you are sure that the printing is there, all the questions are there, and the printing is legible, that means printing is of good quality and you can understand that, you can see and
Sir,
read. Okay.
sir, the question paper is sealed, no, sir. Sir, if we open the question paper, we should also uh, take it with our own, sir.
A good invigilator will definitely facilitate to you, to and to all the participants, to check the printing of the question paper, because that's a common sense. But anyway, if the invigilator is not intelligent enough, if the invigilator is a bit foolish, or if the invigilator comes a bit late, these are possible, right? So these things happen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right? So there are two options for you, okay, right, for any candidate. Option number one, politely, if the invigilator is in a position to listen, if the time is there, and if the invigilator looks to be a person who listens to the needs and requirements of the attendants, then we can politely, you can politely ask, how can I make sure that all the questions are printed or not? How could you please tell? But you need to talk very politely, right? One of the things I have observed at you is, for example, today, I told you that, I would send the link in 5 to 10 minutes, and I went downstairs, and again power was downstairs. Okay, the downstairs, the power was running on inverter, so I don't want to consume the power on inverter, so I just came back upstairs. Like that, it took some time. Okay, so in the meantime you have called, but that's okay. But your language was not that polite. For example,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
to a person like me, in the sense, to a person who is more responsible than you, who knows more than you cannot talk like, what happened. You need to ask, may I know what, very politely you need to ask, may I know what happened, or is there
Okay,
any issue, like that. You should talk very conductive, and you should talk very polite, like that. Even to an invigilator also, if you talk very conductive and if you talk very polite, most probably the invigilator will cooperate with you. But if you sound like straight, or if you sound like impolite, most probably most people would not cooperate with you. Okay, right? Because they are
sir.
already, busy with their work, and they are focusing on their priorities, they are focusing on their work. Especially, if it is already late, of something, and then they would be tense actually. So the possibility is like they would not cooperate with you. So this is how one needs to deal with this situation. And if the invigilator is already late and if he is unable to handle the situation well, then silently, you can do whatever that is possible. For example, without tearing the, a question paper set, you can just peep in, you can just, whatever that is possible, you can just open it to a side, and you can just peep inside whether printing is there or what is the final number of the question. Like whatever you can do, you can do. And this also you need to do like openly, you need to do so that invigilator can see you very openly. You need to do it very openly, right? Because if you do like, if you keep your question paper inside the desk, and if you do it like, like as if you are doing some mischief, then again, the doubt creeps up. And so not being afraid is good. Being brave is good, but at the same time, to the maximum extent, one should be very polite, and one should be very, courteous, and one should be very, what we say, tactical. Tactical means,
Yes.
it's called tactic. Telugu meaning is, laukyamu. It's
Etulu.
called laukyamu. Lokam prakaram
Yes.
naduchukovamu laukyamu. Okay, right? So based on the situation, we need to go ahead. Right? So that is how we need to, first thing, it's very important to make sure that all the printing is there, printing is legible, and all the questions are printed. The total number of questions should be there. So sometimes that also happens, some, because anything might go wrong. Okay, right? So, as a candidate who wants to be successful, it is the duty and the responsibility of the candidate to check each and every step. For example, if you don't want to step on a thorn on a step, okay, thor and thorn means mullu in Telugu. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
obviously you have to watch your every step. And even if you don't watch one step, and if you are barefooted, then there is a possibility of stepping on a thorn, right? When you are climbing the stairs, when you are taking the staircase, okay, there is a possibility. So, especially when dealing with competitive exams, it is very important to be clear about each and every step, right? So, your day should represent that, every day 11:30 to 1, or every day whatever that exam, competitive exam time is there, your mind should be tuned to that competitive exam. Even if you're not writing a practice exam at that time, you must consciously know that this is the time I would be writing the exam. So 11:30 to 1 or 2, I will be writing the so-called competitive exam, POLYCET 2021, or some other exam on that date. For example, July 17th, Saturday, I'll be writing this test. So for that, every day, 11:30 to 1, your mind should be tuned to that. Either you should be writing a practice exam, or your mind should be tuned to it, so that it is completely thinking only about that. So like that, this is how, perfect, this is called perfect practice. Okay, right? So perfect practice, leads to perfect results generally. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so that is how it is. And every day is important. Every day is very important, especially that exam time. Ideally, one should write a mock test or a practice test during the exam time. But uh, if one writes every day, it might be slightly boring. So, if it is really boring, then one can write on alternate days. You need to self-evaluate. You need to evaluate your answers yourself, and from that evaluation, you need to observe things like, is your performance increasing or not? Are you getting better marks, test by test? And are you not repeating mistakes? Because learning from mistakes and not repeating the mistakes is also very important. So where am I losing time? Am I covering next time? Where am I losing marks? Am I gaining marks next time? Okay, how much am I learning from every attempt? For example, if you're learning very less from every attempt, then you need to write just, two mock tests or two, practice tests every week. So if you're learning a lot, then maybe, and if you don't get bored, then maybe you should write, a mock test every day. So self-learning, is, I think, the most important thing in, these competitive exams. And also there should be someone who knows, that subject well, and who can guide or who can clarify the doubts, right? So that is also should be there. So guide, at least one person should be there who knows about the process, who can guide, who can give guidelines, who can give strategies, and who can track whether the strategies are implemented or not, whether the work is going or not, how much work is going. Like someone should be there, like a mentor or coach. And self-evaluation and self-push, self-motivation, and self-work should be there. Okay, so don't believe much in motivation, just keep on working. Work is the best motivation, that's all, right? Very simple. Don't depend on motivation. Motivation is of two types. Okay, external motivation and internal motivation. External motivation means motivation we get from outside. For example, when we heat water, the water gets heated. So do you think that is external motivation to water or internal motivation?
Internal motivation, sir.
No. Actually, the heat.
Okay, external
Yeah,
motivation. Sorry.
external. It's okay, no problem. So external, right? So so obviously the heat is coming from outside, and because of the heat which is coming from outside, the water is getting heated. So as long as that heat is there, the water would be hot. And what happens after the fire is off?
Sorry?
What happens to the hot water after the fire is off?
Sir, hot water stops boiling, sir.
Exactly, hot water stops boiling and slowly it goes down cool again. Okay, right? So
Yes,
that
sir.
external motivation is only temporary. So the first step is depending on external motivation, and then immediately, as quickly as possible, one should move to the next level. The next level is internal motivation. So internal motivation is like the natural geysers. Like on this planet, there are certain places where water would be hot by
Yes,
itself.
sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Like
sir.
like hot springs are there. The water would be oozing out of earth and it would be hot or warm by itself. So that is like internal motivation. It is, of course, earth is providing the heatness, but it is constantly provided, and these springs would be hot or warm all the time. Okay, right? It's not like season based. It's like all the time. Okay, right? So that is kind of internal motivation, which is more stronger, which is more strong, and which is more lasting. I mean, which lasts for more time and more strong. Okay, right? So this is the second level, and the third level is like making a lifestyle or living a lifestyle which does not need motivation at all. The lifestyle itself is like there is no question of motivation. The lifestyle itself is like amazing. Okay, the work is going on every day. People get inspired when people get look at this person, they get inspired because the work is
Yes, sir.
going on, right? So this person need not talk about motivation, or this person need not do anything about motivation. His life itself is like a motivation. For example, if I say Bhagat Singh, okay,
Ah, sir.
some kind of emotion comes. Allu Sitaram Raju, some kind of emotion comes. It's just a name. And why a name has become so powerful that it just gives emotions when one just says the name. Because they lived a life like that, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
the way they lived their life made their name so powerful. Okay. So similarly, we too, everyone can try to, lead an everyday life, an everyday daily routine, which actually inspires a person just by looking at it or just by listening to the name, just by listening to one word. Okay. So that what we call just like, blood and, all parts of body or within the body, so this motivation also should become like a part of the daily routine. Then there should be
Yes,
no
sir.
need of external motivation or internal motivation. Just keep on working. Many people, many foreign personality development people, they say simply one thing, don't talk about motivation and all these things. Just wake up, get to work. That's it, done.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what they say. Why we are taking the 7 to 8 session. One of the reasons why we want to take it only 7 to 8 session is that obviously I want my day to start early. I want to get ready early. Okay, I want to start working early, right? So that I have more time in the day to do things. Okay, right? And that is
Yes,
one
sir.
of the reasons why I requested you to complete your daily chores, daily activities in
Sir,
the morning itself. I requested you to
Sir,
complete.
I also wanted to ask a question to you, sir. Can I ask, sir?
Yeah, yes.
Sir, I think it's better to hold a class in 6 to 7, sir. So I will woke up early than daily, sir.
Yeah, I will wake up. So I will wake up,
Sir, I will wake up. Sir.
yeah, earlier. All right. Yeah, yes, that is also possible. If we can do 7 to 8, we can do 6 to 7. And if we can do
Yes,
six
sir.
to seven, we can do 5 to 6. This
Five
should
to
be the
six. Yes,
mindset.
sir.
This should be the mindset of a ranker in a competitive exam. For example, if you write a mock test today, okay, right? And
Yes,
if you
sir.
get say 90 marks, okay,
Yes,
right,
sir.
out of 120, and your mindset should be like, if I can get 90 marks today, I think I can get 100 marks in the next practice test that I'm going to write. Okay, this should be your
Yes,
mind.
sir. Sir.
And again, when you get, for example, let us say if you get 100, then your mindset should be, okay, why not 110? I mean, why not, that exam is for 110 or 120?
120, sir.
120.
120,
Okay,
sir.
why not 110 next time? That should be your mindset. And for example, if you say, for example, let us say if you get less than 90 second time. First time you
Yes,
got
sir.
90, but second time you wanted to get 100, but you got only less than 90. But again, the champion mindset, the ranker mindset would be like, see, okay, I wanted to get 100, but I got less than 90. So where is the problem? Is it a time failure, or is it a practice failure, or where is the problem? And how many problems are there? How can I solve it? And how much time I need to solve it? So okay, after a few days I'll write one more test, and this time I must get 100. So what do I need to do every day, according to a plan to get 100 next time? Okay, so this is the mindset of, a ranker. This is called, we can call this as a champion mindset or a successful mindset or a ranker mindset, like that we can say. Because we are talking about a competitive exam, we can say like it is a ranker mindset, we can say. Okay, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, coming back to your question, yes, we can make it to 6 to 7. That's not a problem. Okay, right?
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow onward, shall we make it 6 a.m. to 7 a.m.? Yeah.
Okay, sir. I will definitely attend, sir.
Okay, all right, cool. Okay then. All right. 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the sense I might send you the link in between 6 and 6:15. Okay, right. Don't expect me to
Yes,
send the link exactly before 6 a.m. or exactly by 6 a.m. Okay, right. It will be like
okay, sir.
roughly, approximately time. Okay. So yeah, and so please explain to me about the question paper, like how many sections are there. So now I understand 120 questions are there in
Yes,
POLYCET
sir.
2021. And now how many sections are there and how many marks or questions each question contains, each section contains?
Sir, all questions contains only 1 mark, sir.
Very
Every
good.
question contains.
Superb. Wonderful. Okay.
Sir, and maths, the section maths contains 60 questions, sir.
Carries. Okay. So the question paper
Carries
carries 120 questions. Each question carries 1 mark.
yes, sir.
Mathematics, how many questions?
60 questions, sir.
60. Okay, very simple. Well, good. So 50% questions are from mathematics.
Mathematics, sir.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yes, sir. And 30
So
questions belongs to
wait. Out of these 60 questions, okay, if you write a practice test now, okay,
yes, sir.
what is the duration of the exam? I mean, time? 120
Duration,
minutes?
sir. 11:30 to 1, sir.
11:30 to 1. That means 30 plus 60, 90 minutes. So
90
90
minutes.
minutes, 120 questions. So a candidate has less than, now roughly we can say like 30 seconds, 30 seconds to 1 minute average. Each question
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
actually gives 30 seconds to 1 minute time to the candidate. Okay, the candidate can take minimum that minimum 30 seconds and maximum 1 minute on average to a question. Okay, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is very clear from this. And now, do you have a watch?
Yes, sir. I have
Okay,
watched,
you
sir.
have a watch. Very good. Okay. Now, next thing is, if you write the 90 minutes test for 120 questions and 120 marks right now, how most probably, roughly, how many marks do you think you will get in mathematics section of 60 marks?
60 marks, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, I will get 45 to 50, sir.
Very good. You will get 45 to 50. Okay. Today it is Wednesday. Okay, right?
Yes, sir.
So
7th.
today you write a mock test and check how many
Okay, sir.
marks you are getting in mathematics out of 60. Okay, right?
Yes, sir.
So next week you need to get, at least 5 to 10 marks more than that. I mean, next
Okay,
Wednesday
sir.
you need to write a mock test again. And when you write the mock test the practice test on next Wednesday, okay, right? You need to get at least 5 marks more in mathematics. Okay.
Sir, I feel it's better to write a mock test every day, sir.
Every day, very good. Then if you are writing a mock test every day, then at least you must increase your number of marks in each section, in every section, at least by 1 or 2 marks every day.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Okay, right? That's how it goes. Because if it is 1 week, then it would be 5 to 10 marks. If it is every day, then it's very good. Actually, that's the best thing. If you can write a mock test
Yes,
every
sir.
day, and if you can learn from that, and if you can improve from that every day, then that is the best thing one can do. Okay, right? Because
Yes, sir.
whatever you want to practice, ideally you need to practice every day. Okay, right?
Yes, sir.
But just writing the exam and self-evaluating is not enough. Learning from the mistakes and guessing, the ability to guess the similar questions in the main exam, that also you
Yes,
need to
sir.
develop. That means when you are analyzing, when you are self-evaluating, or when you are self-analyzing your answers and performance, you should be very relaxed, and there should be no disturbance, and there should be a time limit. Ideally, let me say one more very important strategy. Okay, see, the exam you are writing for 1.5 hours, right? 90
Yes, sir.
minutes.
Yes, sir.
So your self-evaluation also should take 1.5 hours only, 90 minutes only. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
in the beginning, you cannot take like time like whatever. For example, today we are in this session and we clearly know that this session is scheduled from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Right? So
Yes,
if
sir.
we joined a bit late, we will end it a bit late. But we are very clear that this session is from 7 to 8, right? So imagine if we say that we meet at some point in the morning, at some time in the morning. Okay, when you are free, I will not be free, and when I am free, you will not be free. Okay, right? So So that's why, precise timeline, whenever you have a target, it is very important to have a timeline, for whatever you want to do. For example, this POLYCET also, it happens on July 17th, right? And if you
Yes,
want to
sir.
write it on July 10th, July 18th, you can't write because it will be over by that
Yes, sir.
time. So for
Yes, sir.
everything, even including human life, there is a time limit. So whenever you are
Yes, sir.
working on something, always impose self time limits, right?
Yes, sir.
Keep a timeline yourself and stick to that. And of course, if you fail to meet your target within that timeline, then, with that learning, you can revise the timeline. This is what happens for projects also. Projects also generally have timelines, and well, let us assume that the timeline has failed. For example, this Polavaram and so many projects have failed in timeline, yes or no, because of various reasons. Now, if
Yes,
we
sir.
really want to complete that project, there is no other way than revising the timeline, postponing or extending the timeline in the best possible manner. That's all we can do. So this is how, timing should be there, timeline should be there. Okay, right? And sincerity and commitment, sticking to the timeline should be there. It is not just like just keeping some timeline and just leaving it. That's why one of the techniques I follow to in keeping timelines is, I connect it to my personal life, in the sense, for example, July 9th is going to be my birthday, and I have many plans on that day. For example, I am planning to restart my podcasting on that day. Okay, right? And I'm
So
also,
advance happy birthday, sir.
oh, thank you. So I'm also planning to, write my life planner. There is a business coach called Rajiv Talreja. Okay, he
Yes,
designed,
sir.
a book called Life Planner. It deals with all things like, finance and so on. Okay, right? So that book also I'm going to start writing on July 9th. So we need to connect it with our targets. When we are giving timelines, we need to connect it with some kind of personal or emotional dates, right? So that, our bonding would be more, and we can be more connected and committed to that, towards that work. Okay, right. So thank you, Kaushik. I hope you have learned some useful things today. Okay, so please
Yes,
make
sir.
the best use of today, and we will meet tomorrow, maybe in between 6 and 6:15. Okay,
Yes,
right.
sir.
So can I end this session? Yeah.
Okay, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
great, great. Okay then. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So sorry for the morning reply, sir, for of me to you, sir.
Oh,
Sir,
that's
I
okay.
did.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
good that.
intentionally to say that, sir.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's good that you have said it, because you said it, it gave me an opportunity to explain to you what is right. Okay, and now it also gave you an opportunity to understand, how to go about it. Okay, right? Because it is
Yes,
very
sir.
important using the pleasing words, you talking politely, that is very, very important. Okay, it is particularly important for you because of your long-term goals, right?
Ah, sir, sir.
Other than other students, particularly it is more important to you. That's why, I was so focusing on that. I was telling you very clearly that. Okay, right. Okay, now thank
Yes,
you
sir.
so much. Right, so have a good day. It means you make the best use of the day. Okay, so tomorrow we'll meet again tomorrow in between 6 and 6:15 a.m. All right, yeah. Okay, thank
Okay, sir.
you. Okay,
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
you're welcome. And